Team can do well, but often falls victim to outside forces. At the Pocono 500, Mario was leading when he tangled with Dick Simon, ending the run. The trick for Mario now is simply to finish.
Usually whenever we finish in the points. We've had a good record of first, second, and third finishes, but we haven't had enough finishes. That's been the problem. And however, there are 3 races left and 60 points. 60, a little more than that. So we're looking positive on that, and certainly the team feels positive, and chances are still with us.
Fourth in the points is Emerson Fittipaldi, just off of 2 wins, who is leading at the Meadowlands on the way to his first season victory. Challenging was Al Unser Jr. They hit, sending Emo into the barrier. Emerson Fittipaldi was furious.
Oh, for sure, the crash at the Meadowlands disturbed my chance in the championship. But now, you know, the last 2 wins, I have 100 points, and it's looking good for the remaining 3 races, except the top 3 drivers in the championship are winners. And that'll be tough, because it doesn't matter. I can finish really well, but they cannot finish so well.
Bad fortune for Fittipaldi was good for Little Al. He won at Toronto on the Meadowlands. He's 3rd in the points, 9 behind the leader. His foundation for a championship is based on careful planning.
Driving a race car, it's not something that you go to the racetrack and you just jump in and drive the race car and then leave. I think you have to work at it 24 hours a day. You have to put your best effort towards it. And if you work long enough and hard enough, then the success is going to come to you.
Bobby Rahal is second, 6 points back. Rahal is a planner, a tactician. His technique has been to drive to finish. He won the Pocono 500, but problems like this at Mid-Ohio can stop a 3rd straight championship season.
We've had to rely on consistency because of the engine differences, but we're in a position now, I think, where we can be aggressive and win some more races.
Danny Sullivan is the points leader, but crashes like this one at Indy slowed his start. After the Indianapolis 500, he held only 2 points. Today, it's 129. Hard driving and constant pressure is his style. It was reflected here at Portland, where he scored his first season win. But putting the pressure on others can sometimes backfire, as it almost did for Danny.
It started off really a rough year, then it turned around really at Milwaukee. You know, I've never won a championship, and we've been having a good season, so the only thing really left for us to do is go for it.
9 times this season, the points lead has changed hands. 200 miles lie ahead on the fastest mile oval in the world. Who will lead when the checkered flag falls? Today, it's the Bosch Spark Plug Grand Prix, and it's brought to you by Robert Bosch Corporation, makers of Bosch Platinum, the ultimate spark plug. By Mobil 1 synthetic motor oil, Mobil Point Spike. Danny Sullivan leads the points, but only for the moment. As we take a look at the top 6, any one of these men could be the champion at the end of the season, and any one of the top 3 could walk away from this track with the points lead. Now, there are 20 points available for the lead, an extra point if you lead the most laps. We take a look at the entire chart of points. Every one extremely important. Because of that, there is a great deal of pressure. Sam, that pressure, what kind of effect is it having on the driver's moves?
Well, I think the pressure has made Bobby Rahal a little bit defensive. Throughout the season, his car has been just that little bit slower than the others, and he's had to react to situations rather than create them. Al Unser Jr., by contrast, is going for broke. 3 years ago, he was involved in a stretch drive for the championship. He turned conservative, drove for points, and lost the championship by 1 point. He isn't going to do that again. Danny Sullivan has never been this close to a major championship, and he is responding with a focus, an intensity, and a maturity that is growing every day. Personally, although with 3 races to go, this is kind of a wild guess, I think Sullivan will emerge as the champion.
But there is no question, Danny Sullivan is feeling the pressure. Now let's go to Jackaroo.
Well, Paul, as you said, Danny Sullivan has already scored 1 valuable point by planking his car on the pole. But, Danny, the way you got to the top of the championship chase was by being aggressive. And this racetrack, if you're a little too aggressive, can turn around and bite you. What's your strategy?
Well, I think we're going to have to be pretty conservative early on and then maybe more aggressive at the end of the race.
Are you feeling the pressure, though, by being in the points chase? This is your first time into it.
Well, it's true. There's a lot of pressure, most of it within. The team hasn't said anything, but all the press, everything is just a natural build-up. But that's part of being here, and I love every minute of it.
Well, some say that you don't become a full-blown race driver until you've been in a points chase. He's in one now. Paul?
Well, the track here at Nazareth that challenges Danny Sullivan and the rest is a terrific little facility. It's gorgeous. It's wonderful for the spectators. Roger Penske bought it a couple of years ago. It used to be dirt, and he paved it over, and last year they ran their first IndyCar race on the paved surface. For the drivers, it's a very challenging facility. Now, Bobby Unser, it's tough to get around. You have to stay on top of your car. You have to constantly hustle the machine, and passing is really tough.
Well, Paul, this is an action track. It's beautiful and it's smooth, and it's a tri-oval. Yesterday, for example, Danny Sullivan set a new world closed course mile record here at over 172 miles an hour. Now, that also makes passing a little difficult here. A tri-oval versus a normal oval is 3 short straightaways against 2 normally long straightaways. Last year, for example, 3 cars while leading this race were knocked out trying to pass the other cars. Now, I think this is going to make for a real good race. It's going to be a good, fast race.
One driver here, Bobby Rahal, has an entirely different power plant in the Judd engine. It develops its power in an entirely different manner, and Bobby's had to be very careful with that this year. It may affect the way he drives here today, and that may affect his run for the championship. Let's go to Brian Hammonds.
Bobby Rahal has gotten to where he is, second in the point standings, by being a little conservative. Bobby, this late in the year, with this much at stake, can you continue to be conservative?
Well, I don't know if we've really been conservative. Had to run awfully hard. But no, we can't be. We got to get to the end. We got to make sure we finish every race, but we got to try to win every one, too.
Your strategy today on this track, can you race the Chevrolets, or is survival the key?
Well, we've got to be able to race the Chevys. You know, survival is definitely a key. It was last year. I don't see it being any different this year. But no, we got to try to run up front.
Bobby Rahal has been consistent. He's finished 11 of the 12 races this year. Paul?
Well, the teams are set. The drivers now prepared, ready to do battle with one another. And we'll be back for the start of the Bosch Spark Plug Grand Prix right after this. So each of the drivers now, alone with individual thoughts, individual plans, a final run of the tactics to be faced yet today. 200 miles, 200 laps on this extraordinarily flat circuit here at Nazareth, Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania International Raceway. Rick Mears, poised, ready from his position in the front row. Reflections of Indianapolis with the Penske team occupying both front row positions. World driving champion Emerson Fittipaldi sits prepared in his car. Danny Sullivan, who is the pole sitter here at Nazareth, stares ahead, ready to go racing. All the drivers poised and ready to go. So now let's take a look at the starting field for this 200-mile run. On the pole is Danny Sullivan, his first oval pole. He set a world's closed course record in qualifying. Alongside is his teammate Rick Mears, whose last win came on a mile course at Milwaukee. The second row on the inside is Mario Andretti in front of a hometown crowd. He won here on the dirt in 1969. Alongside is Emerson Fittipaldi, just off of 2 wins. He has never led on an oval. On the inside of the third row is Bobby Rahal, looking for his 3rd straight IndyCar championship. On the outside is Al Unser Jr. He has never won on an oval. The 4th row on the inside is Raul Boesel, the defending world endurance champion. Alongside is Michael Andretti, the defending champion here at Nazareth. The 5th row on the inside is Ireland's Derek Daly. His best finish was on the Milwaukee Mile, a 3rd place 1 year ago. Alongside is Michigan's Scott Brayton, who led 11 laps on the Phoenix Mile in April. The 6th row on the inside is Roberto Guerrero, who won his first IndyCar race on a mile at Phoenix. Alongside is Teo Bobby. His last IndyCar win came in 1983, again at the Phoenix Mile. On the inside of the 7th row is Arie Luyendyk of Holland. He has not finished in his last 7 races. Alongside is Howdy Holmes, a 10-year IndyCar veteran, but a rookie here at Nazareth. The 8th row on the inside is Kevin Cogan, still recovering from a broken arm. His only win came on a mile course. Alongside is John Jones, already the kart Rookie of the Year. The 9th row on the inside is the grand champion A.J. Foyt. 33 of his 67 IndyCar wins have come on mile courses. Alongside is young John Andretti. It is his first race since a serious crash in the Pocono 500. Inside the 10th row is Tony Bettenhausen. With 3 top 10 finishes, he's having the best season of his career. On the outside is Dick Simon. At age 55, he's the oldest driver in IndyCar racing. So the cars are all started, now rolling on the field, beginning to scrub the tires in. The temperature here at 63 degrees is great for the engines, as is the humidity. But there is a threatening forecast. At the moment, it's mostly cloudy here, but there is the possibility of some rain lying just off to the west of the track here. That certainly will figure into the tactics today. The track here, Bobby Unser mentioned it, it's a tri-oval, extraordinarily flat, though there is an elevation change of 34 feet as they run downhill down the backstretch, adding just that much more excitement to the drivers in their run. All of the teams now have moved their separate pieces of equipment back behind the pit walls, prepared and ready to go. The posting here of awards, perhaps to the driver, even though it's a great deal of money, not nearly as important as the points that might be gained by those in the points fight. So we have, in fact, a race within a race. That for the win here, and then, of course, in the points battle for the PPG Cup. Now, last year, the tightness of this course figured into the ultimate win by Michael Andretti. Here is Mario Andretti and Johnny Rutherford as they tangled. Visibility problems coming off of the 4th turn. Very difficult to see the cars behind you. That wasn't the only situation. Here was Roberto Guerrero, who was simply pinned right into the wall. Again, coming off of the 4th turn. Certainly the drivers have given that some definite consideration today. Fortunately, last year there were no injuries as a result of those crashes. The field now rolling about, beginning to form up into their rows of 20 cars ready to start this event here today. There's Michael Andretti. He is the defending champion. Of course, Nazareth is the hometown of the Andretti family. Mario has lived here since the family, in fact, came to the United States when he was a small boy. The green flag now flies, and Rick Mears jumps into the lead from the outside of the front row as Danny Sullivan drops in behind, followed by Mario Andretti and then Emerson Fittipaldi. Just that quickly, onto the backstretch, Rick Mears. Mario Andretti in pursuit of Danny Sullivan, who lies in second, as Mario closes in just a bit, but a bit of a surprise as Rick Mears jumped out into the front, now heading around and completing lap number 1. Rick Mears out in front of this field.
Well, what happened was Rick's oval track experience started showing up at the start. He absolutely legged that thing hard, jumped right into the lead, and that Rick is telling everybody he's going to be tough today.
Car number 16, Tony Bettenhausen, dropped into the pits at the time of the start.
Of the championship contenders, of course, it's Danny Sullivan, who's made by far the best start. Both Al Unser Jr. and Bobby Rahal are well back already.
So Rick Mears now receiving a challenge by his teammate Danny Sullivan as Penske cars lead 1 and 2. Chevrolet Power qualified for the top 4 position, and then Bobby Rahal with his Jug Power comes in just behind those machines. But Chevrolet obviously very dominant this year. The only other victories coming off of Bobby Rahal's motor. Now the top 3 have separated just a bit. Rick Mears continues to watch his teammate Danny Sullivan just behind, and Mario Andretti is not letting either of those out of his sight.
Well, the first 2 cars, Rick Mears and Danny Sullivan, have identical Penske chassis. The important thing on them is Rick Mears, if you notice right there, has what we call the hubcap wheels, the solid outside dish wheel, as you can see there. Danny chose not to run it, and this makes the cars handle a little bit different as far as which one understeers and which one doesn't understeer. Choice of a driver.
The Penske team has decided to come to the line at this race with proven winners. The yellow car that belongs to Rick Mears is the one in which he won the Indianapolis 500. Interesting because it is not a short track design car, and the one that Danny Sullivan drives is the one that he won at Portland with. And already they begin to overtake the back of the field. That was the 16 car of Tony Bettenhausen that was coming out of the pits as the first 3 positions came around.
Traditionally in